Red alert. Ports on the verge of shutdown. Hold on to your shopping carts, folks, because things are about to get real. Dock workers on the east and Gulf coasts are threatening to strike, and if they do, it'll be like slamming the brakes on a freight train. A massive economic pileup is inevitable. We're talking about the International Longshoremen's Association (ILA), the muscle behind moving cargo at some of America's busiest ports, and the U.S. Maritime Alliance (USMX), the bigwigs representing the shipping companies. They're locked in a contract negotiation standoff, and the deadline is looming. This isn't just about some guys on a dock wanting a bigger slice of the pie. These ports are the arteries of our economy, pumping in everything from car parts to coffee beans. A shutdown would send shockwaves through the entire system. The White House is sweating bullets over this one, folks. They're urging both sides to play nice, but with the clock ticking down, it's starting to feel like a hostage negotiation with the fate of the economy hanging in the balance. The battle lines, wages, and automation. So what's the holdup? In a nutshell, it boils down to two words: money and machines. The ILA, representing the dock workers, argues that their members deserve a hefty raise. They point to the back-breaking work, the pandemic risks, and the record profits raked in by the shipping industry. They say it's time for the workers to get their fair share. The USMX, however, is singing a different tune. They claim that giving in to these demands would send shipping costs soaring, ultimately hitting consumers in the wallet. They argue that the industry's recent success is fleeting, and that agreeing to massive wage hikes would be like throwing an anchor on a speedboat. But wait, there's more. The automation issue adds another layer of complexity. The USMX sees robots and automated systems as the future of shipping, a way to boost efficiency and cut down on labor costs. But the ILA sees this as a blatant attempt to replace human jobs with machines, leading to unemployment and potentially unsafe working conditions. Biden's gamble hands-off or high stakes. President Biden, facing mounting pressure from both sides, is trying to walk a tightrope. He's a self-proclaimed union guy, but he also knows that a port shutdown would be an economic disaster, especially with an election on the horizon. So far, his strategy seems to be one of cautious optimism. He's urging both parties to hash things out, but he's refrained from directly intervening in the negotiations. It's a risky move. On one hand, it shows respect for the collective bargaining process and avoids the appearance of government overreach. On the other hand, it could be seen as a lack of leadership in a time of crisis. The White House insists that Biden is actively engaged behind the scenes, but with each passing day, the pressure mounts. Will his hands-off approach pay off, or will he be forced to step in and make a tough call? Section 4. The fallout zone, empty shelves, and price hikes. Let's talk turkey, folks. What happens if these negotiations go south and the ports grind to a halt? Brace yourselves for a bumpy ride. We're talking about potential shortages of everything from clothes and electronics to food and medicine. Remember those empty shelves we saw during the pandemic? Yeah, that could be just a taste of things to come, and it gets worse. Remember inflation? That unwelcome guest that's been crashing on everyone's couch? Well, a port shutdown would be like giving it a blank check and a VIP pass to the all-you-can-eat buffet. Prices on everything would likely skyrocket, hitting consumers right where it hurts, their wallets. This is especially bad news with the holiday season just around the corner. Retailers rely on a steady flow of goods to stock their shelves for the biggest shopping spree of the year. A port shutdown would be like the Grinch stealing Christmas, leaving businesses scrambling and consumers empty-handed. Section 5. Election Year, Showdown, a political football. It's no secret that everything becomes politicized in an election year, and this port crisis is no exception. Republicans are already sharpening their knives, eager to paint Biden as weak on the economy and beholden to unions. They'll argue that his policies are to blame for the supply chain woes and that his inaction will lead to economic chaos. Democrats, on the other hand, will try to deflect blame, pointing to the pandemic's lingering effects and the global nature of the supply chain crisis. They'll highlight Biden's pro-worker stance and argue that he's fighting for a fair deal for both sides. This issue is a political hand grenade, and both parties are playing hot potato with it. Expect to hear a lot of finger-pointing, blame-shifting, and campaign ads featuring worried-looking families struggling to afford basic necessities. It's going to be a wild ride. Section 6. Ticking clock. Can a crisis be averted? As the deadline approaches, the pressure is on. Negotiators are working around the clock, fueled by coffee and the fear of economic Armageddon. The White House is holding its breath, hoping for a last-minute miracle. Both sides have a lot to lose if they fail to reach an agreement. The ILA risks alienating the public and jeopardizing the livelihoods of its members. The USMX risks crippling the economy and facing the wrath of consumers and businesses alike. But let's not give up hope just yet. There's still a chance, however slim, that cooler heads will prevail. Perhaps a compromise can be found, a deal that satisfies the needs of the workers without torpedoing the economy. Or maybe, just maybe, they'll agree to extend the deadline and keep talking until they find a solution. One thing's for sure, the stakes are high and the clock is ticking. The fate of the US economy hangs in the balance and all eyes are on the ports.